Imagine the following scene. A young girl full of dreams goes into a wedding that looks perfect, but hides a trap that few would notice at first glance. This is the real story of Christina, a woman who discovered, at the worst, that the true enemy of her marriage lived inside her own house. And the most surprising, the turn that changed everything did not come from a heroic gesture, but from a detail that no one had noticed until she decided to investigate. It all started like a modern fairy tale. Christina met Denny's, a charming man, successful and attentive professional who treated her as a princess. There was only one small detail. He lived with his mother, Eugenia Mikhailovna, in a two-bedroom apartment. It's temporary, he guaranteed, while his mother, with a warm smile, invited the future daughter-in-law to move there after the marriage. Why pay rent if there is plenty of room? Keep the money for the future, he argued, serving tea with a kindness that seemed sincere. Christina believed. What a mistake. The first cracks appeared in the first month. A comment here, a criticism there, the salt of the excess soup, the poorly taken dust, the extended clothes the wrong way. At first she swallowed dry, attributing everything to Eugenia's maternal instinct, a woman who had raised her son alone and saw the house as her kingdom. But what seemed only manias of perfectionism soon became a campaign of systematic humiliation. The mother-in-law began discarding her care, prepare dinners this can't eat to rearrange furniture without consulting anyone and belittling Christina in front of visits, as if she were an intruder, not her son's wife. Denny's, in turn, repeated the same speech. Give it time. Mother has always been so. She will get used to it. But patience has limits. And Christina's burst the day when, after 3 hours cooking a bother to impress the mother-in-law, she saw the contents of the pan be thrown into the sink with a disgust gesture. Just waste food, said Eugenia, while the liquid dripped down the drain, taking with him the last remnants of respect that Christina still nourished for her. That night the wedding shook. Christina demanded a position from her husband, but received only lame excuses and a request to understand. It was then that she made a promise to herself. If Denny's could not defend her, she would take the reins of the situation. And that's exactly what happened in a way no one expected. The fuse came on a Saturday morning. While Eugenia went shopping, Christina decided to make a general cleaning in the apartment, something the mother-in-law always criticized not being the right way. Moved furniture, washed curtains, made everything impeccable. The result? A hatred hurricane upon returning. How dare you move my things? Shouted Eugenia, throwing Christina's clothes on the floor like rags. You are just a temporary guest. This house is from my son. Denny's, paralyzed with the shaving blade in his hand, could not react. The fear of the mother was stronger than the love of the wife. But Christina no longer depended on anyone. With a firm gesture, she opened the Rossreister app on her cell phone and displayed the naked truth. The apartment, inherited from Denny's late father, was recorded exclusively on his behalf. Eugenia had no right on that space. Look, Christina said, turning the screen to her mother-in-law. It looks like you're the one who is here for tolerance. The silence that followed was deafening. Eugenia paled, alleging lame excuses. I just wanted to protect my son, take care of things. Denny's, stunned, confirmed the information. The documents had never checked. He always believed in his mother's version. The authority mask collapsed in seconds. The woman, who thought herself was untouchable now, aware that she had lost the only currency left, controlled. Christina didn't want a war, but a family. So he gave Denny's an ultimatum without a return. Either you take your place as a husband and owner of this house, or I leave forever. This time he chose right. In a firm voice, he ordered his mother, you can stay, but under one condition, respect. No orders, no humiliation. Otherwise, get somewhere else. The following days were silent tension. Eugenia, defeated, avoided confrontations, knowing that an out-of-place word could seal his destiny, until, a week later, it surprised everyone. Maybe I better move. Ludmila Petrovna rents a room near here. Denny's sighed relieved. He loved his mother, but the coexistence had become unsustainable. In the end, Christina didn't get a battle. She recovered her dignity, and it proved that sometimes justice doesn't need shouts, just a click in the right place. Because the truth, when it comes to light, does not ask for excitement. It simply changes everything. Life that was once a pipe filled of tensions became unthinkable. Peace. Mom, we help with the change. Denny's promised, and it wasn't just with words. Financial support came when necessary. A month later, Evgenia Mikhailovna was already settling in a room in the next room. Christina, in a gesture that surprised herself, helped choose curtains and organize the cabinets. The conflict, which seemed eternal, faded like smoke in the wind. The two women, once declared enemies, were now trying to sew the scraps of a possible relationship. The change was radical. No one else supervised the schedules. criticized the choices, or turned dinners into courts. Denny's, for the first time, took a deep breath not as a suffocated son, but as a man owners of his four walls. 6 months later, the news no one dared to wait. Christina was pregnant. Evgenia Mikhailovna, upon hearing, collapsed in tears. They were not tears of late repentance, but of a joy that overflowed the boundaries of wounded pride. "Forgive me," he whispered, holding the hands of the daughter-in-law for the first time without hostility. "I was afraid of losing my son." Christina answered with a smile that was worth 1,000 excuses. "Mom, Denny's is not going anywhere. We are family, and you are part of it." The birth of the grandson was the definitive seal of this truce. Evgenia Mikhailovna, who once looked at each her daughter-in-law's movement as a relentless guardian, was now the grandmother who arrived with homemade soups, but she knew the time to leave. "I didn't interfere. I didn't judge, just loved it, the way I should always have done it." Denny's, in turn, was another man. The boy who trembled at the maternal look had become a safe father, a respected professional, a husband who planned the future with his own hands. Promotion at work, new car, dreams of a bigger house. "I knew," he confessed to his wife one night, "if it wasn't for that ugly fight with my mother, we would still be dragging on the same mud. You had the courage to do what I didn't have." Christina smiled, because she knew that day had not been an end, but a fresh start. Sometimes it is necessary to burn bridges to build roads. 3 years later, the family moved to a 3-bedroom apartment from them, bought with sweat and planning. Evgenia Mikhailovna remained in her rented corner, but now by choice, not out of exile. He had learned, in Mara, that adult children are not extensions of themselves, but people entitled to fly alone. The visits were frequent. Sunday lunches were again celebrations, not battlefields. The past is behind, like a painful but necessary lesson. Christina, looking back, understood that scandal was inevitable. The truth, when silent, rots. Better than coming out early, before resentment was a decade of coexistence. Denny's, in turn, had sworn to himself what it would be that his wife be overlooked, not even by her own mother. The family now came first, not the blood family, but the one who is built with respect. As for Evgenia Mikhailovna, she had received the hardest lesson. Manipulation is not love, and control is not careful. Relationships do not remain by strength, but by the daily choice of being there without strings. The story proves something that many forget. Knowing their rights is not arrogance, is survival. A simple notary document redefined the papers in those four corners and forced everyone to look in the mirror. Today, with the second child in his arms, Christina thanks the younger version of herself, the one who is not silent, who did not accept to live as a guest in her own home, because family is not synonymous with submission. It is partnership, it is dignity, and above all, it is knowing that sometimes the strongest love is born precisely from the fractures we dare to fix.